Welcome into the Dad Verb Podcast. Topics around parenting from the lens of a dad.
This episode, we're going to be talking about sleep deprivation. It is probably the most common topic in our dad Discord that we have going on. If you want to join that Discord, by the way, that's going to be in the show notes as well as the description of this YouTube video. But I would say, of the discourse that we have on there for a wide range of topics from, our geek corner to our dad bod, whatever, the most common thing that we often hear is going to be from dads of newborns who are just sleep deprived and they're just grinding out those early months. And it's just, what do I do? How do I deal with this? Right. And we're going to dive into that in this episode of the Dad Verb Podcast. Because it's just, no matter how many times we talk about it, whether it's on Discord or how many YouTube videos we've made in the past, right? This is just it's just a reoccurring theme. And we're here to talk about that and empathize with you guys. Solutions? Maybe, I don't know. Because this is a hard one to broach, but we're going to do our best here. We'll kick it off with our head mod on our Discord, Saunders. What do you have? What do you want to tell dads out there every time these types of questions pop into the channels?
Yep. Every time we hear it. So I've stopped providing advice because I'm letting the other dads who've gone through it recently kind of pop in with their tips and tricks.
Yep.
Maybe I should start throwing a few in there, but I go with the very first one is talk to your partner. She is just as tired as you are, and come up with some kind of schedule. Okay. It doesn't matter if that is, we're going to switch off every 2 hours. We're going to switch off every 4 hours. We're going to switch off every 6 hours. It's every other feeding. It's my wife and I had the children until about 2 a.m. She had the children from 2 a.m. till the middle of the afternoon. Right. Talk to your partner, come up with the schedule. After that, your resources in my book come down to ginseng, caffeine, other
brought to you by Monster
substances.
And Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly.
And Alani Nu. And pre-workout.
So, as much as they say mom needs to sleep when the baby sleeps, dad needs to sleep when the baby sleeps too. That was huge for me. And we actually did a whole episode on we're all co-sleeping liars and hypocrites. We have all fallen asleep.
We just got demonetized
in our arms, right?
Yeah.
So look, take the opportunities, get the sleep, make a schedule with your partner, and when you have your downtime, either go back and watch the How to Regain some energy as a dad episode, whether it's working out or listening to podcasts or whatever you do, but take a little bit of time to recharge your emotional batteries in addition to getting some sleep.
Right. And I'd say one of the most common things though is like those first 2-3 months, like no matter how much advice or podcast that you listen to or whatever, just like and whatever tactics any sort of sleep trainer or whatever have, because you can't even you can't even start sleep training until like 3-4 months anyway. But like up until that point, it is simply put an absolute grind. That's just what it is. So it's just like it does end. There's a light at the tunnel, but like
it gets better.
When you are in it, it really is just an absolutely exhausting just part of your life. And it's hard. It's hard. So to Andrew's point, that sleep schedule is extremely helpful. The way I did it with my wife was we would kind of do it in shifts where I think for a while, I would be, anytime the baby was up or whatever, I would be up with the baby up until like, I don't know, whenever sleep until like 2 a.m. or something like that. And she'd have it like 3 a.m. and after or something. And it helped that we were bottle feeding, right? We supplemented with bottles and formula because it's a lot harder when it's just breastfeeding, because a lot of that responsibility does fall on your partner. So being, the supportive dad, the supportive husband is a little bit trickier during those night feeds. But one of the things I heard so often is, you nap when the baby naps. And while I get how in theory that works, yes, but that's just not how my brain worked. Like in the day, I was just wired to just be up and I couldn't sleep. So like that advice was like, did nothing for me. Right. Though, again, the theory of it, yes, if you can swing that, sleep when the baby sleeps. Yes. But it's hard because it's just like that doesn't work for me, but like room. You need to
like
go ahead.
There is a not in the same room solution there, right? Like if you're comfortable with your kid in a crib, sleep in a different room. Let your baby sleep in peace so that even if you're struggling to fall asleep, you're not disturbing them. Like, right? Make that. Baby monitors are a thing. We loved them. We use them to this day. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting spiral, because then there's like so many takes on that where like, well, you shouldn't leave a baby alone in there. You know, that becomes such a cultural thing, whether it's like with co-sleeping, room sharing, all that, or just them sleeping in a separate room altogether. That's such a hard take. Our approach was, you know, we had our baby in a bassinet in our room up until about the 4-month mark before we transferred to a crib. That is such a subject. That's such a an interesting,
it's crazy.
Topic. Ben, what do you have, man?
Yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. Like, you're gonna be tired. They don't sleep well. You know, there's, as Andrew said, it's a grind, right? Like those first couple months, I remember when we were having our second, and I bring this up a lot on the podcast, like I literally had to ask my wife when we were going to have our second kid, how we managed sleep with our first one, because I honestly think my brain had just shut it out. You know, my wife had a C-section, so we were actually sleeping downstairs on our couch with our baby in a bassinet for several weeks before we were able to go up the stairs to go back to our own room. The only way we really managed it was like you guys did, you know, as many trade-offs as we could, which was a little challenging because we did, you know, exclusively breastfeed our first kid. So mom's doing all the work, right? Like she's up all the time. So fortunately for me, I was able to get a little bit more sleep, I think, than she did, because I wasn't doing as much. So where I would come in is doing the dirty work, right? Like clean the pump parts, you know, do the diaper changes. So when the baby wakes up, get up, do the diaper changes, make sure they're good, change their clothes if necessary, make sure they're all prepped to just go in, latch, feed, try to stay awake long enough so that, you know, I can put the baby back down and change them once they're done feeding so mom can go back to sleep. So really just looking at dividing and conquering the workload is the biggest thing, because if mom is sleep deprived because she's breastfeeding, the last thing she really needs to be doing is cleaning pump parts or doing all this extraneous stuff. Yeah. And as new dads, it's really hard to know where and how to help. And that's one of the best ways that you can jump in is do all the stuff that nobody wants to do. Like just get in there, get your hands dirty, learn how to clean things, learn how to set, you know, feeding schedules and work with sleep schedules and figure those things out, so that you can provide that support. Right. And honestly, a lot of it's like filling up water cups and all that stuff. Yeah. But for the guys,
cooking a meal.
Yeah. Cooking a meal. But for the guys, it's like lean on your community. If you have friends who want to do a meal train and can bring you some food and take some weight off that, that gives you more of an opportunity to nap. You know, try as best you can to nap when the baby naps. It doesn't always work. Even just sitting down and relaxing and like watching TV while the baby's napping, just something to shut your mind down and get your body to just relax for a bit is going to help you recharge. That, and go for walks, get some exercise in, like get the baby in the stroller, go out on even just a 10-15 minute walk a couple times a day will help your energy levels tremendously. And it'll just help you get through the day, because at the end of the day, it's hard. Those first couple months are so hard for everybody.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is, but stroller walks are magic. They put your kid to sleep. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. I don't know why the sidewalk bumps put the kid to sleep, but they do. Take advantage. Yeah. Take full advantage. The only other one I was to say is family members. Lean on grandma, lean on grandpa, lean on aunts, uncles. They've been there, they've done it, and if they're there and available to help, let them help. Right?
Yeah.
But also, as we've covered before, you can send them away. If they are being more of a burden than they need to, you can be like, get out. That's okay too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I got
Protect your
this. I'll be
peace.
all right.
Yeah.
Protect your peace.
Yeah, exactly.
The another thing, stroller walks are great. I found that the best soothing technique for me was just baby wearing, whether that's with a sling. I preferred baby carriers. I used the Baby Bjorn 1. That was my favorite. When I wore the baby, it was like magic. All three of my kids. I hope that it would work for you as well. But in moments of just like this is tough, when I would wear the baby, they felt close, they felt warm, and it was truly, it felt like a magic pill when I would wear the baby. That peak colic really peaks if they're going through colic, because our first two especially did. 6 to 8 weeks is kind of when it peaks. So if you're trying to like, when is this going to like calm down a little bit? If they're like crying really, really fussy, and it's like kind of contributing to the sleep deprivation and all that, because colicky babies have a hard time going down. That 6 to 8 weeks is kind of around there. So on the Discord, if you go into the sleep channel and you scroll up a bit, maybe I should repin this or something like that. There's like a bunch of just like those who want to practice safe sleep. There's just like a long list of things to approach and just kind of just helpful things to read up on. And then if you're just at a loss, you're trying to figure out like, what other ways can I stay involved, ways in which Ben already kind of hinted at, what else can I be doing to help support? I've got a list of that in our course, the Father Figure course on dadverb.com. I will try to track that down and share it. But there's a good amount of things that we, because as guys, we're fixers, we're doers, right? If we can't like, figure out how to help mom with feeds or something like that, or sleep, we kind of default to like, what else can I do? There's a helpful list of things that you can be doing to keep your mind occupied. But with regards to the actual like, act of just the sleep deprivation aspect of this, it's tough.
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
The suck.
Yep. You'll be out of it soon enough, though. So
and I can say that every one of our Discord members who's kind of posted in our sleep channel has inevitably come back and said something like, "Nope, we had to come up with a schedule, or we had to talk it out, or the team made it happen." Right? It always comes down to it's manageable. You need a community, and utilize that community, because they will help you. If you go. If you don't ask, ain't nobody gonna help you.
There you go. Hey guys, we hope you all found this somewhat helpful. Just a couple dads talking about sleep and baby stuff. If you want more of it, again, join us on Discord. We've got courses on dadverb.com from pregnancy up through year 1 of fatherhood. Give us a subscribe on YouTube if you want to tune in for more of this types of content. If you are listening on just the audio version of this, this is a podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us there as well. So thank you for listening and watching. We'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.